Look the part, play the part. Yakko sponsors Vanarama National League on BT Sport.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Vanarama National League highlight show on BT Sport. This weekend our cameras were at Sinsel Bank to see a big top of the table clash between second place Lincoln City and top of the table Forest Green Rovers. That game coming up in just a few moments, but first here's the rest of the headlines from the 5th tier.
Tranmere keep up the pace in the battle for promotion. Aldershot are up into the playoff places. And Jamal Loza's hat-trick inspires a Maidstone fight back. But there's only one place to start, one of the biggest games of the season so far as the top two teams in the National League went head-to-head. Commentary from Adam Virgo and Steve Bauer.
Oh, there's an overplay there, and it's a chance potentially, and it's a goal from Deutsch. First blood to Forest Green, Lincoln's mistake punished, and Christian Deutsch scores for the 7th game in a row. And how important could that one be?
Well, he'd be delighted, Mark Cooper, because this goal comes about with the pressure on Alan Power. You're talking about those second balls, I mentioned that earlier, right at the start of the game. Alan Power doesn't know Deutsch is there. I'll tell you, that's a great little through ball for the man in form. Takes his time. No surprise, it's Noble with the assist.
Just keen to get things moving at the other end for Lincoln. Ellis, no foul, Angle, 1-1. Lee Angle with the equaliser for Lincoln.
There's not really a lot in there, but when it falls to Lee Angle, it's a brilliant finish from him, composed. The problem is the centre-half. You allow that ball to bounce, it causes you problems. He's worked tirelessly and tirelessly. Well, that's a brilliant finish.
Abigan, crossing opportunity.
Trying to claim it. Unfortunately for Marcus Kelly, it comes off him.
Involved again there, the aforementioned Lee Angle, foul for a Lincoln free kick. Here he comes. Oh, and he's found the way through. Sam Havigan with what could be a golden goal in the bigger picture.
Wasn't really necessarily the best free kick from Sam Havigan. You go goalkeeper's side. And Sam Havigan hit that. It was going to be an easy one for the goalkeeper. And it's been a brilliant second-half reaction from Lincoln and Dan Cowley's side.
Do you know what, we're pleased to win because we've had a little bit of criticism this week.
Yeah.
Probably the first bit of criticism that we've had this season. Obviously coming off the back of Tuesday's game. We've had to suck that in. You know, people call it a blip and they're allowed to do that. We know, as I said beforehand, you know, football's a crazy world. But no, we had to, you know, we stuck to our method, we stuck to our beliefs and our values, and it's always trusting the people, and we did that.
It's a blow in terms of the fact that we were winning 1-0 and quite comfortable. And then we didn't compete for one ball in the middle of the pitch, you know, and we give them away back into the game. And credit to Lincoln and their players. I thought their players were very good, very intense in the second half, and we succumbed to it. So big blow, but nothing's won or lost.
League leaders Lincoln may have 3 games in hand on Forest Green, but they've only played 1 fewer than Tranmere. Mickey Mellon's men knew victory would take them 2 points away from the top. Rovers were up against a Braintree side still battling to stay in the league. The visitors were carved apart in the first half. James Norwood cleaned through within the first 60 seconds, unable to hit the target. The hosts had free rein at the Braintree goal in the early stages. A fine flick from Norwood teed up Connor Jennings, but he also failed to test Ben McNamara. The visiting keeper almost gifted Tranmere the lead as he spilled Jeff Hughes' free kick straight to Andy Cook, who could only rattle the woodwork as the game somehow remained goalless at half-time. When the breakthrough came, it was Mellon's main marksman who delivered, Cook becoming the first Tranmere player to score more than 20 league goals in a campaign since John Aldridge more than 2 decades ago. So the home fans expected more at Prenton Park, and the opportunity came to kill the game off with 20 minutes to play when Norwood won the race with McNamara and a penalty. This season, Tranmere have struggled with spot kicks. Hughes' effort saved easily by McNamara before the Braintree backline eventually cleared the danger. A frustrating day for Rovers in front of goal. Mellon's men were almost made to pay for their wastefulness. Braintree's Michael Cheek denied by Scott Davis late on before firing into the side netting. A lucky escape and a massive 3 points for Tranmere.
To come out of it now and only be 2 behind the leaders, I'm really pleased about. If somebody that offered me that a few weeks ago, I'd have taken that. So pleased to pick up a valuable 3 points at this stage of the season in a really difficult game.
A landmark day for Dagenham and Redbridge skipper Scott Doe, his 300th appearance for the club. But the priority for Doe was to help end a run of 2 straight defeats and avoid further damage to the Daggers' promotion hopes. York City have been resurgent under Gary Mills in their fight to stay in the National League. They almost led when Amari Morgan-Smith's header bounced back off the crossbar in first half stoppage time. John Still's side were much improved after the interval. Veteran striker Paul Benson getting in behind. Keeper Scott Loach parrying. Corey Whiteley couldn't get the ball out of his feet as the attack came to nothing. Loach was making his debut in the York goal, having signed from Notts County in midweek. He showed his value with a point-blank save from Benson to keep the score at 0-0. With the game on a knife edge, Still introduced Frankie Raymond off the bench. Just 4 minutes after coming on, Raymond ran at the York defence before curling the winner past Loach. Not a bad time to score your first goal of the season. Dagenham now trail the leaders by just 5 points.
We were disappointed Tuesday. We weren't at our best against Aldershot. It was poor. But we bounced back today with a win, and obviously we have to go into the next game getting a win because other teams are winning as well around us, so we have to just make sure we've got 7 games left, 7-game season, and pick up as many points as possible.
Macclesfield Town are Wembley bound, having reached the FA Trophy final last weekend. Their bid for a playoff spot has stalled though. Not the case for Aldershot, who are looking for their 3rd league win in 7 days. The game at Moss Rose didn't open up until the second half. Luke Summerfield heading back across goal for the hosts. Reece Brown passing up a glorious chance against his old club. Midweek, Gary Waddock's team had taken the scalp of Dagenham and Redbridge and were clearly full of confidence. Instant control and a fine finish from Kundai Benyu, who broke the deadlock on the hour mark. The visitors had lost just 1 of their last 14 league games, and another victory was wrapped up with 7 minutes to go when Matt McClure was first to the rebound to secure 3 more points for Aldershot. Waddock's players move up into the top 5 at what is a crucial stage of the season.
Very good result up here. It was an important week for us this week, and we said to the players a week ago, let's see where we are come the end of the week. 3 very important games, and delighted with the performance today.
It's been an exceptional 2017 for Gateshead. 7 wins from the last 9 had lifted them into the top 5. Meanwhile, Richard Hill has stopped the rot at Eastleigh. Their 4th manager of the season had just guided them to 3 victories in a row. A snapshot from the experienced Matt Tubbs was the closest either side came in a disjointed first half. All of Gateshead's previous 8 goals had been scored after half-time. That trend continued when Gus Mafuta drilled in from long range. Mafuta with his first goal in almost 18 months. Eastleigh's playoff hopes may be over, but they're made of sterner stuff under Hill. Just 2 minutes after conceding, they found an equaliser when the ball fell to defender Ayo Obele, who scored for the second game in a row. Honours even in Hampshire. It's a result that sees Gateshead slip out of the playoff places.
I feel we should have won the game because we took the lead and then there was a definite foul in the build-up to the Eastleigh goal. So I'm disappointed about that, but obviously you get decisions for and against you, and we just have to move on to the next game.
A run of only 3 defeats in 18 had lifted Guiseley out of the drop zone. Dover hoped that victory a week ago breathed new life into their playoff bid after previously going 3 games without a victory. Chris Kinnear could welcome back Ricky Miller after injury, and it didn't take long for the National League's leading scorer to make an impact, rifling home his 31st goal of the season after a quarter of an hour. Adam Lockwood's team have been in fine form of late at Nethermoor Park, but it was one-way traffic as the visitors doubled their lead. Ricky Modeste on the score sheet for the first time since September, with a third of the game to go. The home side struggled to contain Miller all afternoon. Dover's number 9 wriggling his way into the area before being tripped by Marcus Williams. Penalty given. Miller stepped up to make it 32 for the campaign, more than any National League player managed all of last season. There was an opportunity for Kinnear's team to add more gloss to the scoreline when Ross Lafayette was brought down. Spot kick number 2. No match ball for Miller, he'd been subbed, so Lafayette made it 4-0. A great day for Dover and their returning striker.
He's always at the end of good play by the other players. It isn't all about Ricky. Ricky's done very well and done well for the team, but so are all the other 14, 15, 16 players that we've got, and it's all about team really, and Rick's the one that puts the icing on the cake. But today, pleased with a clean sheet against a good side and scoring 4 goals against a side that hasn't been letting goals in. Very well pleased.
Despite just 4 wins from their previous 16, Barrow was still in playoff contention when they faced a Solihull side who sat comfortably in mid-table. Barrow had salvaged an equaliser in the 6th minute of injury time against Wrexham in midweek, and they went ahead here when Moussa Diarra headed on a long throw and Jordan Williams got the finishing touch. The lead was doubled just a minute later when Richie Bennett's harmless-looking effort was needlessly parried by keeper Nathan Baxter, and Williams snapped up the loose ball to score his 7th of the campaign. And a crazy 3-minute spell was capped off when Liam Hughes headed in a 29th-minute corner to leave Solihull 3-0 down after half an hour for the second home game running. Liam McDonald's side did battle back to rescue a 3-3 draw in that last home game with Braintree, but there was to be no repeat on this occasion. Hughes was barged over in the box by Joel Kettle, and Bennett converted from the spot to put Barrow 4 up. To Solihull's credit, they rallied in the final stages and managed to make the scoreline more respectable. First, Christian Green scored his first ever National League goal, before Oladapo Afolayan let fly from 25 yards for his 3rd goal in only 5 starts since signing from Loughborough University last month. The visitors had defender Nick Anderton sent off late on for a second bookable offence, but they held on to secure the victory and moved themselves to within 3 points of the playoff places.
Got a little bit sloppy, around the 60-minute mark. But the positives are when you're in that kind of, we're 4-0 up at the time, it's very easy to get complacent. So look, overall, good day at the office and a fantastic result for us.
19th against 20th, a real 6-pointer in prospect. In their fight for survival, Woking and Maidstone were separated by goal difference only. Gary Hill's side were boosted by Tuesday's 3-1 victory at another relegation rival, Braintree, and opened the scoring after 13 minutes when Delano Sam York, recently back from a successful loan at Maidstone, slotted home his 9th of the season. Woking recently brought in striker Jamie Lucas from Bristol Rovers to aid their battle against the drop. He marked his home debut with a clever finish from an acute angle as the hosts appeared to be in control. Despite sitting only 2 points above the bottom four at the start of play, Jay Saunders' side were unbeaten in 6 matches. They halved the deficit on the half-hour mark through Jamal Loza, who curled an excellent shot past Michael Polk in the Woking goal after good work on the break from Alex Flischer. The visitors pressed for an equaliser in the second half and they got it with 20 minutes to go. Loza converting his second of the day after once again being teed up by Flischer. And it wasn't long before the former Norwich City youth player completed his hat-trick, reacting quickest to smash home a loose ball in the Woking box. A man in form, that's Loza's 6th goal in his last 3 games. A remarkable comeback was sealed late on when sub Yemi Odubadi turned well before an emphatic finish past Polk. That's 4 wins from 7 now for Maidstone. They swap places with Woking in the league table, but still all to play for in the relegation fight.
It's disappointing to see as a manager. I think it's got to be disappointing to see as a supporter and as a football club that what is at stake and what was at stake in there in the second half, the way we collapsed. And when balls come in your own penalty area and you don't want to head the ball with no one round you, I don't know what you put that down to, but I'm very disappointed with that one.
North Ferriby knew they would need to start putting points on the board if they're to extend their stay in the National League to a second season. Sitting 8 points from safety, they took on a Sutton side who hadn't yet extinguished all relegation fears themselves. But it was Paul Doswell's side who took control of this one after just 14 minutes when Rory Deacon swept home from Kevin Amanqua's cross. That's the 8th goal in what has been an impressive season for Deacon, who's rumoured to be on the radar of a host of Football League clubs. The home side were without a victory in 5, but they soon added a second goal. Captain Jamie Collins on hand to volley in his 7th of the season, making him the club's top scorer in the league. Not bad for a centre-back. Steve Howsham's side was struggling to get a foothold in the game. They found themselves 3 down when Kieran Cadogan squared for Maxime Biamu to tap in. North Ferriby did give themselves a glimmer of hope moments into the second half. On loan Middlesbrough defender Robbie Tinkler showed good tenacity to hold off challenges from Bedsenti Gomez and Collins before finishing off his 2nd goal in 3 games. But any hopes of a comeback were dashed when Sutton added a 4th thanks to this delightful chip from Cadogan. The forward then wrapped up the scoring when he was given time and space on the edge of the box to make it 5. That's the 13th goal North Ferriby have conceded in their last 3 games. They fall to the bottom of the pile and face a huge task to avoid the drop with only 6 games remaining.
If I'm being honest, I thought we started well the first 5 minutes, and the first goal went in and that was the difference. Our heads went down and you could see we was a beaten side, and that's what I don't like sometimes. And some of the goals were, sort of gimmies for them, and we could do better on them. But said there at the end, you're playing against some of the ex-Premier League players, and my boys, this is the highest I've been. And the oldest player, when we walked off, was 22, and the rest were all 18, 19. So the lads will, be hurt from a defeat, but we'll just keep smiling and keep going along.
Bottom of the table after taking only a point from their previous 10 games, Southport urgently needed to stop the rot as Boreham Wood arrived in the northwest. It had looked like Andy Priest would secure his first victory since taking over as manager, as Southport led 3-1 at York in midweek, but a second half collapse meant they eventually lost 5-3. In a first half of few chances, it was the visitors who came closest to breaking the deadlock. Matt Payne denied by an excellent reaction save from Craig King. Boreham Wood were unbeaten in 5 without conceding in that run, but cracked 9 minutes from time. Keeper Grant Smith parried Louis Almond's cross to Liam Nolan, who steadied himself before rifling in at the near post. A morale-boosting win for Southport and Priest as they move off the bottom, but they're still 7 points from safety with only 7 games left to play.
Another relegation-threatened side are Torquay. They sat in 21st place at the start of play, but they knew a victory at Wrexham, something they hadn't achieved since 1988, could be enough to take them out of the bottom four. The hosts were handed an opportunity to take the lead in the opening moments of the second half, when referee Peter Wright ruled that Torquay keeper Brendan Moore had bundled over Isel McLeod. The visitors claimed that McLeod had handled the ball in the incident. Their protests were in vain, and George Harry stepped up from 12 yards to mark his first career start with a goal. Torquay had won just 2 of their last 13 games. They looked sure to equalise when Dan Sparks found himself through on goal, but he got his finish horribly wrong with only keeper Chris Dunn to beat. Kevin Nicholson's side were then awarded a penalty themselves in the 77th minute when Russell Penn mistimed his challenge on Luke Young. Jamie Reid confidently dispatched the spot kick to level the scores. The game appeared to be heading for a draw, but Dean Keats's men almost snatched all 3 points at the death when Ntumba Masanka squared for Anthony Barry, but his effort was cleared by Nathaniel Rowe-Turner. The point not enough to take Torquay out of the drop zone, but that will change if they avoid defeat at Solihull on Tuesday night.
Not pleased at all. The performance is probably the poorest that we served up. Sometimes it don't happen, you're passing wide and stuff like that, but when for me it was the lack of desire, the lack of enthusiasm out there and the lack of passion.
I think the term for their penalty is gamesmanship, so I can't say anything too controversial, but it was a good catch from Azal, followed by a good throwing himself to the floor, and if the officials don't see it, it's not cheating, it's gamesmanship. But very proud of the lads, very proud of the effort they put in. It's been a testing week, and that's one of those points that we need towards the target that we've got to get to.
Chester travelled to Hayes Lane looking to arrest a slide which had seen them lose 7 of their previous 8. Bromley's record not much better with 5 defeats from their last 8. Neil Smith's men went closest in the early stages, but Toby Show Silver failed to direct Blair Turgett's cross shot on target. Show Silver then showed great determination to chase down a loose ball before dispossessing Blaine Hudson. The forward's deflected cross somehow kept out by a combination of the post, Chester keeper Alex Lynch and the retreating Sam Hughes on the line. With the game heading for a stalemate, Chester's Elliot Durrell produced the only real moment of quality 3 minutes from time, a pinpoint effort too good for Ross Flitney in the Bromley goal. A welcome victory for John McCarthy, whose side are back in action on Tuesday when they host Barrow at the Diva Stadium.
So, Forest Green's stay at the top only lasted 4 days. Lincoln regained the leadership on goal difference after that victory over their closest rivals. And with 3 games in hand, it looks like the title is theirs to lose. Tranmere is still in the hunt for automatic promotion, and Aldershot have moved into the playoff places after losing only 1 of their last 15. But Gateshead, Dover, Barrow and Macclesfield are all still in the mix. Southport's first win in 11 lifted them off the bottom, but it will take something special for them to avoid the drop. North Ferriby are equally in need of a big change of fortune. We have 2 big games coming up for you in the next few days. On Saturday, Tranmere make the short journey across the Welsh border to take on Wrexham, and that's exclusively live on BT Sport 1 and in 4K UHD from 11:45. Then on Monday, April the 3rd, we're back at Sinsel Bank for Lincoln against promotion challengers Dagenham and Redbridge. Coverage starts at 7:15, again on BT Sport 1 and in 4K UHD. That's all we've got time for this week. Don't forget you can watch all of our highlights back on our dedicated YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.
Look the part, play the part. Yakko sponsors Vanarama National League on BT Sport.